President Donald Trump shaking up global markets once again, announcing a 90-day delay on tariffs for dozens of countries, but hiked levies on China to 125%. Let's take a look at the closing numbers. Markets soaring on the news, with the Dow up nearly 3,000 points. That's the biggest rally in 5 years. Joining us to break down what this means for your bottom line and how this will impact prices here in Houston is the chairman of the economics department at UH, Professor Dietrich Vollrath. Thank you so much for being here. There's quite a bit to unpack, so let's get right to it. With tariffs on Chinese goods going up, could Houstonians see price increases on everyday items, and if so, when?
Yes, for sure. I think we all know that a fair amount of the stuff that comes into Target or Walmart or lots of places is sourced from China. So you're going to see the price impacts on many goods that you might buy on a regular basis. When that happens, probably over the next few weeks, some of those places will have items already in stock that they imported a few weeks ago, maybe months ago. But pretty soon, the kind of regular turnover of inventory is going to mean that you're going to see essentially prices more than doubling or close to doubling on lots of those items.
So is this a time where consumers should be stocking up on certain things? If you can figure out that it came from China, maybe. There's a certain amount of businesses and households trying to kind of get ahead of this. We've seen in the data already even surges in January and February of purchasing that kind of are inflating the economy a little as people were trying to get ahead of these even before they knew what the tariffs were. There's another component to this, the small business owners. For small business owners in Houston who import materials or products, what steps should they be considering now to manage those potential cost increases?
That is a great question and a tough question. There's, kind of the long range question they have to ask themselves is, do they want to keep sourcing from China, given that maybe this is a long run tariff change and all the prices are going to be twice as high for their imported, products and machinery and inputs that they need. In the short run, they may just not have much of a choice, right? And part of what's going to happen to them is they just don't know what's about to happen, right? We saw today that tariffs went up on China, but they went down on others. They're still high on others. We don't know. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, things could change, even at the end of the 90-day pause. Who knows what might happen to these tariffs? So for a lot of those small businesses, I think one of the problems is there's no obvious answer because they don't know what the situation is going to look like 90 days from now.
Certainly a lot of moving parts. Okay, for folks here locally keeping an eye on their retirement savings, how might these tariff decisions continue to influence the markets and potentially impact our 401ks or investment portfolios in the months ahead? I mean, what's the key takeaway?
Yeah, I think you'd be best off expecting, and again, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't want to tell you what to do with your 401k, but there's probably a good chance you should think about it being that despite what happened today, the value of it's going to be lower over the next 6 months or year, or kind of gain less than you might hope. Partly because of the uncertainty around this, right? Even today's big gain may disappear tomorrow if policy changes again. At the end of those 90 days, if policy reverts back to the original plan, they could dump again. So this is kind of all similar, like uncertainty's kind of bad for the economy. And right now, one of the kind of the worst things that's happening with respect to the tariffs is creating a lot of uncertainty. So until we kind of know what the permanent answer is, it's going to be hard to know what to do with, say, your investments in the same way those small businesses aren't going to know what to do.
This is an ongoing conversation that, of course, we will continue to revisit. Professor Dietrich Vollrath, we appreciate your time this afternoon. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Andy.